All right, welcome. Mike Golfs Oregon. I never know what to call this. It's listed as a podcast, but this is not really a podcast. What does my thumbnail say? Mike check. Welcome to Mike Check. Don't forget to subscribe to Mike Golfs Oregon. Join the Discord. Send me an email at MikeGolfsOregon@gmail.com. Just a mishmash of stuff to talk about tonight, golf related, both my own golf, professional golf, college golf, and vacation golf. I streamed 2 weeks ago with Paul about our challenge, our race to sub 10 handicaps. And the handicap season started in the Pacific Northwest on March 1st. And I got out on March 1st and played 9 holes, and it did not disappoint. I missed an eagle putt on my first hole and opened with birdie, and then finished with sort of a mostly meh 9-hole round, and didn't move my handicap maybe 1/10 up to 13.9 from a 13.8. So not a really flashy start to the season, but I did follow with some historically bad golf on my part over the last weekend. And I'm going to go ahead and share the screen here. I'll pull up my the gin. Straight to the gin. All right, here we go. This is what happened. So you see on the 7th, that says a 95H at Creekside, the 22.8 handicap differential. That 95H was actually a 101. I had multiple holes that were stroke adjusted for the max scores or whatever. I think I had, I opened with a par, just missed my birdie putt, and then hit one good tee shot on number 2, and then the wheels fell off for pretty much the rest of the round, except for maybe the last 2 holes. I had, I think 3 through 5 holes, I had 6 water balls. Shortest hole on the course, 105 yards. I was playing 105 yards, and I dropped 2 off of the tee into the water on a half pitching wedge shot. So not a great start. If Paul's watching this, Paul, you are not in trouble. I am not going to be running past you anytime soon. Hey, Sid. Hey, Joe. Good to see you guys. If you're here for the cinematography, Joe, I'm sorry to disappoint you. Let me remove that. Sorry to disappoint you. Not a whole lot of cinematography going on. And yeah, Sydney, I know. What the heck, 101. It was really bad. 6 water balls. When you get it like an 8 on a par 3, 100-yard par 3, it gets in your head just a little bit. The next tee shot was a top. And then I can't remember what happened after that. It was just not good. Just a whole bunch of not good. So it's good to see you in here too, Mark. How you guys doing? Hopefully you guys played better than I did over the weekend. I did. Thank you, Joe. That is like that green light is I don't know. I think it was like maybe an $8 light, and it changes. I can change it to every color on the rainbow. It's pretty cool. So I'm glad you were able to stay up late just for the green light. I mean, it is Oregon, so go green, right? How'd you guys play this weekend? Anybody play this weekend? I'm sure you did. We had gorgeous weather on Saturday and then rain on Sunday. Played in both of them. Didn't seem to make a difference one way or the other, whether I played in good weather or bad weather. It's all the same. Although I did play a little bit better. Sunday, shot a 91, and wasn't great, but considering the conditions, I'll take it. So I do have, just so you guys know, I just have a list of topics to just ramble off the top of my head here. Not really scripted. I don't have any guests coming on tonight. Sydney scramble on Sunday. I played crap. Yeah. Did you get caught in the rain? Because we got that drizzle for like 3 hours. Actually, we had about 2 hours of it. Joe, my son and his buddy lost to me. They were doing best ball as a team, so I've got that. How old are they? I'm not discounting your win, Joe. I do have So Sydney, I'm glad you're on here, right? So we've got for the handicap coming up competition wise. I'm a member of Northwest Golf Guys. 17. Oh, that's legit, Joe. I'm a member of Northwest Golf Guys, and I play in several of their competitions over the winter, which were like team competitions. Play with my brother-in-law. Won a little bit of money. Bought a few things out of their pro shop, which is actually a pretty great deal. But signed up for the first individual stroke play event Sunday, March 22nd at the Reserve South Course, which is just north of us here in Salem, Oregon. It's just north of us up towards Portland and Beaverton. It's individual stroke play. And here's my concern. I'm not, bunkers don't usually bother me, but there are 120 bunkers on the South Course. So 18 holes, 120 bunkers. At least that's what they claim. That's what I read. Haven't played it, but the videos that I've seen and the pictures that I've seen, that's like someone was talking to me today about Bandon courses, and that's right up there with Bandon. To have 120 bunkers on a course. So basically going to be going out to my home course over the weekend and practicing some long bunker shots, some short bunker shots, some out of the face and whatnot. And Sydney, that's just great news that it's also long. You might be in a different flight than me though. At a 10 handicap, I think you're a 10 handicap, right? You'd be probably in a different flight. Maybe you have to play the blues and I still get to play the whites. So I don't know. We'll find out. Hopefully we get to play together. So I got that to look forward to, and I'll probably report on that. I did post, so on YouTube update, I did post that first 9-hole round of the season on YouTube, and you can see kind of the hot start, right? Birdie start. I don't think I've ever started birdie. It's definitely my best start. I think I've been 2 under through 3 holes, but not 2 under through the first 2. So I was pretty excited and felt pretty confident, and then just sort of played average after that. Hopefully I can like pull that off again, but stick with it, and continue playing well and not just, crap myself. What else am I going to talk about here? So Sydney you sent me the 9-hole course. So I've got a new series I'm going to start. I'm going to call it 9 for 9. And it's basically going to be 9-hole courses that are in the Willamette Valley where I live. And going to highlight sort of the good and the bad and the ugly, because there's definitely all of that. Yeah, thanks, Joe. The first drive was a big one. So I want to get out and play some of these 9-hole courses, and several of them I've never played before. Most of them I have, but I think there's, out of the 9 that I picked, I think there's 3 that are new to me, and they look to be, maybe one of them looks very interesting because it'll have sand greens, and that's not something outside of like the high desert and way far eastern Oregon, out in the middle of nowhere, cowboy country. Might be the only other places in the state that have sand greens. It's the only one I'm aware of in the valley here, and it's just north of me by like 15-20 minutes. So I'm looking forward to playing a sand green course for the first time ever, and then a couple of other courses that I've never gone out and played, because they're a little bit of a drive, and sometimes it's not that much fun to go for a little bit of a drive just to play 9 holes. But gonna do it for the tube, right? What we won't do for the tube. What did I write down here? Join the Discord. Say it again. Did want to talk just briefly about sort of professional golf. So I've been trying to get back into the PGA this year. It's a little tough. It's not very relatable. And so Joe likes 9-hole courses a lot better, more fun to me, and it never turns into a slog. I actually agree. I love like an early 9-hole on Saturday, and then hit brunch, right, is always nice. Or that 9 holes in the afternoon in the evening sun, when it's nice and warm in the summertime towards the end of the day. I love 9-hole rounds. There's not, I don't know about where you're at, but around here, there's not a lot of 9-hole courses. You kind of have to go out into the sticks a little bit. But there are a few that are actually really, really fun. So I think some of them I've put up on the channel. Like, I think when I started, I was playing at Metal Lawn a lot. That's a really flat sort of like that's where you go to learn some real basic stuff with golf, but it's fun. It's where my wife learned how to play, and we had a lot of fun playing there a lot, like every weekend. But Dallas is on. I think I've posted one or two from Dallas. That's a really fun one. I've gone out and played. There's a one called the Nines. That's I haven't recorded there. I just played there one time, and it's under like major renovation. That's a big reclamation rehab project, but it looks really cool. So I'm hoping this year that it's kind of coming along and the grass is filling in and it's getting whipped into shape. And then the other one that I'm looking forward to playing again is Laurelwood, which is down in Eugene, and that one is I think yeah, I posted around there on my channel at Laurelwood, and it is by far the most interesting and diverse 9-hole course I've ever played. It's really fun, and they just had a redo or like freshen up of the course, some of the bunkers and some of the routing and changed it up just a little bit. Like I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, maybe a little bit longer than that, but it's a really fun one. So I'm looking forward to putting together that series for folks on 9 holes and kind of doing it over the summer. Going to get out on the course and record more, less of in here. Still do some of this stuff in here, but less of it because it's really weird. I I reach out to folks for interviews and they either don't respond or that's mostly it. I don't get a response. So I'm finding it harder and harder to get other new YouTube channels to come on and let me interview them for you guys to talk about them and talk about their channel and their journey through golf and YouTube and stuff. And that's fine. I'll go find other people that are sort of golf related. Um, oh, Mark says Laurelwood will need time to dry out. It will. I think when I played there last and recorded it, it was for the spring game. So we went down, my wife and another couple, and we played 9 holes at Laurelwood before the spring game, and it was very wet. It was pretty soggy, so it doesn't have good drainage. So I will wait a little bit longer on that because I want to play it when it's actually firm and not, looking for your ball in the middle of the fairway because it's 6 inches into the mud. But what are you going to do? That's kind of Oregon. It's kind of what we get. So try to get out to some of the others that I know will be a little bit firmer, like earlier here, while it's still sort of wet, but we'll be okay. I'm assuming sand greens are okay. I don't know I don't know if Roger's in here, but he's the one, or no, Sydney, you're the one that told me about the sand greens. I think. I don't know how they play in the rain, but anyways, on the pros, I don't know if you follow the pros. If you do, tell me who your favorite player is. But at the Arnold Palmer Invitational, Akshay, hooray for lefties, boo for brooms, boo for anchoring. What do you guys think about brooms, about sort of that style of putter? I am just not a fan. I think it looks funny. I think I don't know, the whole question of whether you're anchoring or not. Why would you even want to bring that into tainting your score, tainting your win, tainting your victory? But I guess sometimes they got to shake stuff up and try something different, so they go to a broom. But not for me. I don't know what you guys think about broom putters, but I really wanted Daniel Berger to pull it out. So he led through the first 3 rounds. Actually, was ahead by 4 or 5 strokes at one point on Sunday, but wasn't able to pull it out. But it is good to see him get back in the mix because he was like a young up and comer, like the big stud. He was 12th in the world, something like that, and then went through a series of injuries and things, and is now just sort of clawing his way back from that whole process of injuries and ups and downs. So Mark, not a fan of the broom either. Yeah, I'm not really even a fan of mallet putters, but I don't have a problem with people putting with mallet putters. That's just their deal. It's the feel, but the feel for me is not there. I need a blade style putter. Corn Ferry, we had Doc Redman wins, but for YouTubers, you'd be more interested in, if you remember him, Cooper Dossie, who I remember first seeing him on Busta Jack. He was coming off of shooting like a 58 in one of the Corn Ferry Tour events, or some event in Texas. He was coming off of shooting a 58, and he came onto their show or onto their channel and played a couple rounds with them. But he came in second. He tied for second, but 5 strokes behind the winner. The other YouTube guy that is kind of fun to note, and I sort of track these guys because it's fun to see how they're doing, is Matt Atkins, who he made the cut, ended up tied for 68th, so didn't play very well. He's like, they just finished up their South American stretch on the Corn Ferry Tour, and he's had a pretty rough go south of the border. So he made 2 top 23 finishes in the 2 Bahamas events, and then missed the first 3 cuts in Central and South America stretch, and then finally made the cut at the final stop. But their next event is not until like the end of March, and I think it's in Georgia, so it's sort of more or less home turf for him, which would be good. And then my favorite golfer, 9 for 9. Yeah, don't steal it, Roger. You can do it after I do it. My favorite golfer, and I'm going to just call this Panda News. This is Norman Jong, who was he was a golfer at University of Oregon, and he made the cut also at the event, and finished in the group just ahead of Matt Atkins. So I was always happy to see him do well, but 18 holes can be a long time commitment. Yeah, they can. I got stuck. Well, we thought we were going to get stuck behind a tournament both days, Saturday, Sunday of this last weekend. There was a March Madness tournament at our club, and it was a three-man scramble teams. And shockingly, we showed up. We showed up in the afternoon with the first tee time at 3:10, and we showed up at like 2:40, and the golf course was empty. And they're like, "Yeah, just go on." So we didn't have to get stuck behind him, which was great. You won't steal. It's not stealing. It's YouTube. Everybody does it. It's not stealing if everybody's doing it. So I also followed up on the DP World Tour. I don't know why I'm stuck on the pro stuff, but I am. DP World Tour. The thing of note, so they were playing in South Africa in the Johannesburg Open. And I kind of follow a little bit of the South African stuff because I also really like James Wiltshire, the UK golfer, and he spends, a couple months out of each year down there trying to get onto the what is it, the Sunshine Tour or their developmental tour. But anyways, Brandon Robinson Thompson, he came in second at the Joburg Open by 1 stroke. He's really good. He's actually got a really good YouTube channel. I had it pulled up to share, but I don't want to mess around with the screen at this point. And so he's kind of fun to watch, and I definitely recommend checking him out. And then Alex Fitzpatrick, who's Matthew Fitzpatrick's younger brother. How would you like to be his younger brother and be a golfer? And you'd be the other Fitzpatrick, tied 6th. And then Patrick Reed came in solo 10th. So Patrick Reed's well on his way to earning his spot, earning his PGA card. So if he wins one more time, I think he's like locked up and guaranteed. So go Patrick Reed, whether you like him or not. It's kind of a cool story. Roger, do you like this look? Steph Curry and Seth Curry. Exactly. Except for I like Seth Curry because at least he played for the Blazers. Not that I'm a huge Blazer fan or really follow him at all, but I know that he was on the team for a little while. I don't know if he's still even in the league anymore. But what do you think of my microphone, Roger? Does it look official? Moving on, college golf. This is a cool story. So if you've played at Bandon Dunes, let me know in the comments if you've played at Bandon Dunes. And let me know first of all, what your favorite course is. Have you played there? What's your favorite course there? And have you played Pacific Dunes? Because this is an amazing story. So on yesterday, it was day 1 of the Bandon Dunes Championship, which is an invitational, a college invitational, hosted at Bandon Dunes, and they play a rotation of different courses there. On Min Win from OSU, from Oregon State University, so right up the road. He shot a course record 61 on Pacific Dunes, which is absolutely amazing. He shot 7 under. He shot 7 under on the front, and then he birdied the par 5 18th hole to beat the course record by 1. And because it's a tournament for college kids, I know that they're probably playing back, the very back tees. Um, they do have to pass the mic around. So it's really it if you've ever been there, that is an absolutely amazing feat. And he is as a freshman in college, he's 18, maybe 19 years old, not a big guy. Um, that course has beat me up and taken my lunch money. I think I've played it 3 or 4 times now. I don't know that, I think the best I've done on it is probably I think it was a 92, uh, and that was probably from 2 sets of tees forward from where he was playing from. So, uh, Roger, 61 strokes on any course, any 18-hole course is pretty amazing, especially there, especially there. It is wide open, but the greens are absolutely brutal. Some of them anyways. Like, what's your favorite hole? What's your favorite hole Pacific? Or Mark, you haven't played Pacific. It's it's got some it's wild. So Pacific has like a very, very wild feel about it. A lot of like sort of just oversized features. I think it's the sixth hole that has like it's got to be the biggest, deepest, tallest bunker on the whole resort property. And the green has like a false front on the back that's like 15 feet high, and it's just a narrow little strip of a green. So if you chip it over it, it's one of those things where you try to putt it and it goes up and comes back down, and goes up, comes back down. Um, so yeah, all the holes next to the ocean are they're yeah, it's a fantastic course. Um, no favorites though, Roger. I think on Pacific, trying to remember the number. Um, I gotta like go through 'em mentally in my head, right? You got par four, number three is a par five, and then is number four. Number four, I think it's number four. Number four is a fun one. But yeah, it's rough, and especially if the wind gets up, which it always does because you're right on the coast. So ocean on the right and the bunker left right at 230 yards. Is that number 4? I think that is. I think you're describing number 4. Love trails, but Old Mac blind hole with the bell was awesome. That's the Alps hole. The Alps hole is a cool hole. It's a nice template. It's fun. Um, ooh, yeah. So all favorite holes at each course. Old Mac. Well, start with Bandon, the OG course. It's pretty tough. It's pretty tough to beat 16. It's just so it's just so beautiful. 4 is really great too, with the reveal coming around the corner. But I think what's your if you've played the OG course, Abandoned Dunes course, what's your favorite hole there? I'm gonna go 16. 16 is my favorite hole in that course. And then I think if I move over to Pacific, I think is it 5, the one with the big huge bunker that we were just talking about, and the skinny little green. If you go over, it's just such a wild hole. It's fun to play. I don't know, hard to choose, right? It's like favorite kid kind of deal. Hard to choose at Pacific. At Trails, um, boy, is it 11? The one that has the water? That's a fun hole. The only water hole on the resort. Um, is a cool hole. 14 is always really fun to play, as is 17, kind of fun. So they're challenging. 17 is really challenging because I think it plays like 170 yards. Um, driving over the road. Oh, number three at Trails, driving over the road. Yeah. Thankfully, people stop or you let them go through. But I think 17 is tough because it's a long par three. I think from the tees that I've typically played it, it's always about I think it's played usually about 165, 170. And there's nothing between you and the green but just junk. And there's a big gnarly bunker on the right short. But yeah, love trails, but just want more ocean at Bandon. Yeah, I Trails is probably my favorite course, but it is nice to go there and just be on the beach and get the ocean views. Ghost tree up hills blind. Which side do you take it on, Roger? I'm gonna guess with your fade that you go left of the tree. Yeah, I've played sheep. I think I've played sheep 4 times. Played it the year it opened, and it was still sort of muddy. Yeah, yeah, left is the way to go, Roger. For me, I never know which way my ball's gonna come off the driver, so I have to aim just right at the tree, and I'll never hit it. I'll never hit the tree. I've gone left of it, I've gone right of it. Um, I think going right, I've had more luck. I've gotten almost to the green going right. You get some big kickers down there that just boost your ball down there. What about what's your favorite hole on, Sheep Ranch? Anybody got a favorite there? I think 3 is a fun little is a really fun little par 3, but probably 1 or 17. Yeah, Roger, 1. Yeah, yep. I think 1 is just amazing. It's so much fun coming down that hill, rising that, coming up over that crest and then seeing the ocean open up in the infinity green and, you know, hit it as hard as you want down there, and you're not gonna hit it over the edge, but it sure looks like it. I think that one is just so much fun. And then 17 is fun. It's a little scary for a left-handed fader, such as myself with the driver, just especially depending on how the wind is blowing. But I've also been able to drive that green before, so I'll take that too. I'll take either one of those. Trying to remember, did we miss any of the courses? 16 trails, Old Mac, Sheep Ranch, got them all. One because there's no wind. Wait, on Sheep Ranch? I can't think of a single number 1 hole that has no wind. Other number 1 at Pack, at Pacific is a little bit protected, but it seems like all of them are pretty exposed, like the whole resort is. Speaking of resorts, so this is one of the other topics I had. Speaking of resorts, so for better or worse, knock on wood, going back to Mexico for I don't know 10th, 11th trip to Mexico in May, end of May, and I never play when I go to Mexico for whatever reason. I've always stayed right next to golf courses and stuff. So I'm curious, do you play when you head out of the country on vacation? Or when you go to somewhere like that, do you always play? And I'm kind of wondering if I want to play on this trip. Um, have you played in Mexico? Would be another good question. Because I I probably would only play 1 round, and so I'm not gonna take my club, so it's a rental set, and I really look forward to trying to explain to somebody through Google Translate that I need a lefty set, but, "Oh, please give me a right-handed putter." Or I guess I just borrow my wife's if she's playing with me. Um, but I'm kinda curious if you do that. I just Not Hawaii. Oahu so expensive. 9 holes is like $300. Yeah, it's expensive, and it's honestly, it's not much cheaper in Mexico. Um, Depending on the course, it's really by the time you buy golf balls and pay your greens fees and maybe a caddy. Probably wouldn't do a caddy if I didn't have to. Some courses require you to. You're probably getting close to that $300 in Mexico too, Roger. Um, so Mark never played in Mexico. Okay. So I've been down to Cabo probably 4 or 5 times and never never played, but the courses there are like they kinda look like the courses at Bandon, right? Real rolling, built on sand dunes and firm and fast, but the grass is so lush and green that I've been told by folks that played it, it doesn't play the same way. It doesn't, the ball doesn't roll and roll and roll. You don't have to play the ground because it's just too they keep it too, soft and lush. But heading down to like Cancun, which is I'm going to be down towards Cancun this time. Been down there several times as well, and the courses are basically those jungle courses that are through like mangrove swamps. Said if there's a course nearby, I'd have to bring the clubs. I thought that, but if I'm only gonna play one time, if you're only gonna play once, maybe twice, you would bring the clubs. If you're only gonna play one time, we're gonna be there for 10 or 11 days, and, I don't know, maybe I would play more than once. I'll just have to play it by ear. I just don't want the hassle of taking my clubs, 'cause, um, we've got, the travel to Mexico down where we go with oversized backpacks, and we don't need to check bags or anything, and so having to wait for checked baggage is just no fun. Um, so Roger, Maui has so much golf at different fees. Yeah. You know what, Joe, buying secondhand when you're in Scotland, that's probably a fantastic idea. I forget the name. I forget what they call the stores. But yeah, they're basically the thrift stores. They have a name for them. Um, I'm trying to remember. If you watch some of the well, James Wiltshire does it. All the UK guys at one point or another do this sort of bit on their channels where they say, "Oh, for 13, for 13 pounds, let's see what I can buy." Not a perfect golfer has done it too. You go in and they go into those thrift stores and then they buy a set of clubs. So I would do that. I don't think that that's really an option in Mexico. It doesn't seem like it is. So so many places Roger wants to play: Scotland, Philippines, Wales, Vietnam, Spain. Fold up one club, adjustable off. That's so Roger, renting clubs is fun because of the newness. I'm with you on that because I've played the same clubs for 20 plus, well, yeah, 20 years now. And so at least with the irons, uh, that is what would be fun for me is just getting to try other clubs. And as a lefty, very rarely, other than when Sid and I finally get to play together, do I get to play with somebody where you can say, "Hey, try this club," or I'll try my clubs. Let's try each other's clubs or whatever. You just don't. That's not an option for me most of the time. But it's also sort of a downside, is because they're just going to give you clubs that are, probably I would expect super whippy. The clubs give me rentals, but if I run across a club, yeah, yep. I think that'd be pretty. Well, then you got to get a nice ratty old bag too, Joe. Um, and you should get some. What are they called? Uh, Kelties. So look for Kelties. They're the things that go over your laces that look like, I don't know, they look like um, oh, I'm drawing a blank. Old man brain. A kilt. That's why they're called Kelties. So they look like a little fringed kilt that goes and you weave through your laces. It'll make you look real official. Oh, that's yeah. I can see them taking it really serious like that, Roger. Like asking in England, saying, yeah, we have lots of different rental. Yes, fringe thingies. Lots of different rental sets, but I only give you these if you have a certain handicap. And I'm curious, did he look your handicap up? They know you know what you're talking about if you give them a decimal. So instead of saying 11, you say 11.2. Spots. Oh, spats. Spats are different. Kelties actually get laced through your laces. I think spats are the things that go over, like over the top of the shoe. Kelties are like old school golf shoes. Like I remember my dad always had Kelties. All the shoes came with Kelties. The tongue is extra long and folds over the top of your laces with that thing. Oh, wearing spats too. Yes. Maybe buy some plus fours, little short pants and a newsy cap, and definitely an Argyle V-neck short sleeve sweater. I love watching the counter. So I don't know if you guys are all chatting on vertical or on horizontal or landscape, because you can't see the other one. If you're on one, you can't see the other one. But I love watching, like, suddenly the viewer count jumps up by a whole bunch and then we're talking about something stupid and they it drops right back down again. Where do I want to travel and play? I got a couple places. I would like to go. Um, yeah. Um, Number one, probably New Zealand, and then and Australia. New Zealand and Australia, and that was before Taco and all those guys. I just had always read about Tara Edie and some of the courses down there, kidnappers, Cape Kidnappers, and some of the really cool courses in New Zealand. And then obviously I knew about like Royal Melbourne and the Sandbelt courses in the south of Australia, and even over you know up on the east coast, Gold Coast has really nice, like sort of really lush courses, and now even Perth on the west has some really great stuff. Um, no, this is live. This is live right now. Dick Large, 1901. Ask away if you have a question. Um, so Roger, number one and number two probably would be New Zealand and Australia. I too would like to go to Vietnam. Been watching a couple folks that post a lot of videos from Vietnam, and the courses, they look a little bit rough, some of them, but the others look absolutely amazing. So I would like to go to those places, and obviously the Scotland, Ireland, those places would be really fun. But the other places that are interesting to me, and I would like to travel just because I'd like to travel there, is like Argentina. Um, you know, eat beef for every meal and play some fun golf. So it's raining so hard and next to a graveyard, next to the ocean, super scary. What part was scary? Like you weren't scared of a graveyard, were you? Or was it up on a cliff and you were scared of the cliff by the ocean? Furthest from home, I've played in the States. I had to think about that, Mark. I've played down in Texas, down in Houston. That might be it. Because I haven't really, I mean, I've traveled a bunch across the US, but I haven't played golf across the US. So I played a couple different courses in Houston when I would go visit my parents and my sisters. Nothing crazy, no super special courses or anything, but that's probably the furthest away. I've really like I've never played in Washington. Um, yeah, I could see that up on the cliffs, Roger. Haven't played in Washington, haven't played in Idaho, haven't played. I've only played Oregon and California now that I think about it, and Arizona and Texas. And maybe if I thought about it, there might be one other, but I think that's it. So, good luck on Capitol Hill, Joe. Thanks for dropping in. So, Disney World for you. Um, is it one of the Disney World courses? I know they have a bunch. I have a friend that's going there in like a month or two, and I think he's going to try to play one of them too. And I'm guessing all of them have at least one Mickey Mouse shaped bunker. So, Dick Large, do you not have any questions? So you forget which one, yeah. I mean, I would like to go play other places. Um, my wife and I are looking very seriously now at doing a little, like a weekend trip down to St. George, Utah, which is down in the alligators, yeah, the southern tip of Utah. It's like an hour and a half, I think, hour and 40 minutes, kind of northeast of Las Vegas. You drive past like Wolf Creek and all of those, and then get up there to Sand Hollow and Black Rock Desert. So that's on the list. Okay, am I starting a travel golfing series? Travel videos are big on YouTube. Lots of good courses in Mexico and tacos. Review tacos. I love tacos. I eat a lot of them when I'm in Mexico. I don't really want to do a travel golf series. Um, it's hard enough coordinating everything to record on your home course, and even tougher when you go other places. And I don't go enough other places often enough to put together an actual series. It would be like more like a one-off, and then you wouldn't see another travel golf vlog from me for another 6 months or a year. But the tacos thing, heck yeah. Um, let's see, last year when I went to Mexico, or no, I didn't go in 25, 24. 2024 was the last I was in Mexico. Um, fell in love with octopus tacos. They're delicious. Not fried octopus either. It's like grilled octopus. Fantastic. St. George is the Orlando for golf in Utah. Well, I feel like it's the Orlando for golf, one of the Orlandos for golf on the West Coast. Because I would throw like Scottsdale, Phoenix, Scottsdale in there. I would throw, um, probably Palm Desert, Palm Springs area in there. There's probably other spots too. But if you pull up the map of St. George and zoom out and just, do the search for golf, it's amazing. Yeah, Sydney, The problem here is I can't tell who's actually in horizontal and who's in vertical. I just see all of the comments in one column popping up. So you guys can't see what the other people are saying if you're not in the same one. So you're in Orlando right now visiting the mouse. How many days are you there for? And are you playing golf while you're down there? And are you eating tacos while you're there? I did. I went to Disney World in 1993. 93? Yeah, 93. And I'm gonna guess it's changed quite a bit since then. 14 days. Is this for work? Because that's a long time to spend at a resort or at a like a theme park, basically. That's a lot of kids for a long time, for a very long time. But I didn't play golf when I was down there. Actually, I don't think I was even golfing at that time. All I remember was I don't really remember much about Disney World. It's kind of forgettable. I don't think the Animal Kingdom was done yet. They were still doing that. Um, I feel like that's what was going on. I remember spending a day walking around the lake at whatever is at Epcot or whatever, and you do the tour of the world, just eating food basically and getting absolutely stuffed. But yeah, don't forget the like button. Ah, nice. Boys volleyball is the best. My daughter is in her, I don't know, this is probably her sixth year of coaching, seventh year of coaching, but her, I think, third or fourth year coaching boys in high school. So she grew up playing volleyball, and man, I've traveled all over the country. We've gone everywhere. We were just talking about it the other night about, if your kid is playing travel ball, how far you go and where you go for all of that stuff. But that's pretty cool, playing for Georgetown. It just became, and actually, Dick Large, I don't know if you're from Oregon or not, but it doesn't matter. But it just became an official sport for Oregon schools, Oregon public schools. Not it, prior to that, it was like a club sport, so not every school had it, and there's all these different rules around what you could and couldn't do with it. But now it's an actual sanctioned sport for the schools, and so it's growing in popularity quite a bit. And you're seeing boys clubs open up, which is really really neat. Um, Oh, Roger still has 2 spots for Tokati. So if you're watching this stream, Roger's got 2 spots for Tokati, and you definitely want to get to Tokati. And if you happen to have a spare $1,800, you can get a cabin for $1,800 a night. So Roger's in that now for club volleyball. Yeah. Well, what age group, Roger? Is it like 13s or 14s? I think your kids are a little bit younger. It's when they get to like 15s and 16s that the travel starts to crank up. And then by the time you're in 18s, it's California, Texas, the Midwest, Utah, Colorado. It's all over the place. Florida. So, but it is fun. It's easy to get carried away. 13s and 14s, yeah. Yeah, it's easy to get sucked in. Your kids get so excited about it, but it's a good time. But playing D1 for Georgetown, that's a really cool deal. I would like to see that. I haven't watched men's college in a long time. So the last topic I had on my list on my sheet was, I just wrote down dog, because this is the most important update. We are in the search for a dog, another family dog, another replacement family dog. Our dog was put down 2 years ago, and we think we might have found one. We got to travel for it. He's over in Bend, and hopefully, maybe I'll take the golf clubs over and go play golf while I'm over there. And maybe golf and a new dog would be pretty sweet. So, what do you guys think? I'm out of topics. I can ramble. I can share my screen. But I don't think that that's a golden. We actually looked at a golden for a while. For a bit, we thought about it, but too much hair. Um, Our last our last dog was a black lab, and I think we're gonna a lab mix, and so we're gonna get a probably another lab mix. My handicap, so it is now a 13.9. A large dog, Roger. No small dog. I like small dogs. I like all dogs, but he's a big boy. The guy that I'm trying to arrange to go look at him this weekend if I can. He's a year old and he's a labby mix, and he's 110 pounds. He's big, and he's not. It's like 110 solid pounds, not a big flabby boy, which they can tend to get pretty flabby pretty quick because they're basically trash compactors. Um, check the Discord sent in Mexico. Let me check it on my phone. Yeah, they are. So retrievers are super loyal, super loving. We feel the same way about Labradors. I think the kicker for me is I want a dog that you can trust around kids, you can trust around strangers. It's going to be a dog, and there are situations where they're going to be protective, but for the most part, I want a dog that's social, that enjoys being around people, new people, that enjoys other dogs, that is not, I don't want to have to be worried about my dog all the time. That doesn't mean you don't like be a good owner and pay attention to your dog's body language and everything else that's going on around them, because they're just going to act out of instinct and you've got to control that. But I think I do love Goldens. They're wonderful dogs, but labs are just sort of my personality because I can sit around and just eat a bag of chips with them. Roger tried a chipper today, and how did it go, Roger? I, I I'm not there yet. I like the idea of a chipper, but I don't think I need one because my pitching wedge works so well on the bump and run. First and last time, no wonder these clubs go back in the garage. Well, hmm. So nobody else can see this, but Sid sent me the adjustable loft club from Walmart. What's this called? A Divnik hole in one, WHOLE, hole in one adjustable loft telescopic golf club, left-handed even. Leave it to Walmart to show the lefties some love. So it replaces an entire set of irons, wedges, and drivers, offering 8 adjustable loft options. I have more than eight clubs in my bag, so I'm not sure how that jives. The math there doesn't seem to math out. Roger, were you trying to swing the chipper like a golf club? I might be able to screen share it, Sid. Give me just a second here. And I will pull it up and we can look at it. Where we're going, Discord. This is also another advertisement for Discord. The Divnik. It's got kind of a weird name. 2 seconds here. This is great. Dead air. Okay. 2 seconds. Here we go. All right. Throw it up on the screen for everybody and they can see what we're talking about here. Okay, this is the Divnik. Ooh. So wow. So there's your there's your 7 lofts. Da, 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 da. Divnik. It's patented. That's all you need to know is it's patented. Here's the better picture. Look, it brings people together. Look at the love in her eyes. What do I think of the stack? Never used it. I don't think about it. I guess that's the speed training thing or whatever. Shot setters, that yellow attachment, clubs with proper reverse hinge. Yeah, I've never used it, Roger, and I've never used any sort of speed training thing, so I don't really know. Are you using the stack? And on the chipper, the reason I asked if you were trying to swing it like a wedge, I don't think that's how you're supposed to use it. I think it's really just a I thought it was supposed to be just a putting stroke. S Shot setters. I know what you're talking about with the yellow, the wrist setting thing. Anytime I start to play around with my wrists and trying to manufacture positions with my wrist, um, it goes awry. Let me call the divot maker. Mark, are you referring to the oh, you are I'm gonna guess you have to be referring to the Divnik. Maybe that's why they call it. Yeah, so Roger, I don't think you're supposed to use chippers like a wedge. You really are supposed to it's a putting stroke, and that's why the lofts are not super high. They're not generally super high lofted, and you just use a putting stroke. I don't think that they're really made for full shots. None of my golf clubs were made for full shots on Saturday. That was pretty apparent. So how much is this thing? Oh, Sid, this club is $250 from Walmart. I don't think it's worth it. But I think Roger, I think you need to give yourself a second chance with the chipper. I think you need to go out there and use it like a putter and then report back. The chip ran forever. Well, yeah. Maybe well, I don't know what to tell you. I wasn't there. Yeah, you want me to play with that? That actually would be a fun it would be fun to get this club and go play around and see how I did. It'd be pretty bad if it ends up being better than what I got in my bag currently. But again, score is score, right? I don't know. Maybe you get one first, Sid, and try it because you're the other lefty in my life, and I can ask you, "Hey, can I borrow that club?" I don't know. 250 bucks seems like a lot for something like that. That's like a truly just like a gimmick club. Um, there you go, Roger. You sold your chipper. Mark's got it. 50 bucks. And yeah, Sid, I would think about maybe splitting it. That's probably the only way I would end up buying it. Just about. I don't know. 250 seems a lot for one club, even though that's like less than half the cost of a new driver, it seems like. It is a full bag in one club as long as you're only playing nine clubs in your bag. Um, oh, Roger, you can make some money though. You can either let your wife try it or give it to or sell it to Mark. So Mark Nelson says the chipper is overrated. I think Mark, I'm gonna say I half agree with you and half disagree with you. I agree with you that for most people, it probably is overrated. Um, if you have like hard yips or just can't seem to get yourself together around the green, it's probably not overrated. It's probably underrated because I think they're pretty simple to use. So just subscribe. Well, thank you. Thank you. It's not always just rambling like this. I do occasionally have cogent thoughts that I put together. I have guests on that I talk to and actual real life people face to face that we speak and back and forth. That's really something else. But no duffs though. That was nice. Well, that's good. Those do creep in no matter what. Like my game is my short game is it's all bump and run, and I use just my pitching wedge. I don't even mess around with using other wedges or other irons for it. It's just the same club, put it in the same spot in my stance. It's the same stroke. There's actually two. I have two different strokes that I use for it. One sort of a chip putt stroke, with handle up, toe down, and it just kind of depends on it's all situational. But for the most part, I just bump and run everything. Unless I've got to get it up and over something, then it's a 56. So using everything under 100 yards. Well, that might be the problem, though, Roger. I think they're like anything. I think they're situational. Don't even need a bag. Do you think? I love jumping back and forth on topics here. So, Mark, with the Divnik, do you think that maybe you just would like fashion some sort of strap maybe magnetize it to your belt. Clemson Man wants to know, the fuck is this? It's rambling. It's the end of a live stream, and it's a free for all, free form. It's late. Feel free to join in. 72 degree. Where do you even get that? How about if you don't have a lot of green to work with, like a 10-yard chip with 4 yards of green to work with? 50, yeah, 56. Yep. So, yeah, I don't bomb tech. I think my father-in-law might have had one of those 72 degrees. He had one that looked like it it looked like a garden tool because it was so flat. And I'm guessing that's what 56 is the most loft that I have. But yeah, Roger, I would just use a 56. And again, it's situational. Like that shot that you describe, a 10-yard chip with 4 yards of green to work with. Um, Man, if I'm trying to get up and down, I'm not even gonna try and be cute with that. I would probably try to fly that to the hole just to take out, not trying to hole it, but just to take out the margin of error of duffing it in that 10 yards of grass, right? Just get it on the green. I feel like I put good enough, just get it on the green. Um, well, I think it's smart to play that way. So you say smart player, mostly bump and run 56 if needed. Yeah, that is the way I play. Smart player, maybe. Good player, no. Sometimes. I'm still having still T-ball issues at this point in my game. It's struggling to get cleanly off the tee, but I think I've got some drills and some things to work on here that hopefully clean it up, and so that I can, you know, beat Paul to that 9.9. Yeah, I had a 60. I had a 60, but it's easier to hit the bump and run and to be able to judge the run out and to adjust the run out on that shot than it is to judge the distance and fly it there with the 60, knowing that the 60 is not going to run out as much. So you really have to nail the distance. I think it's a lot easier to chip it and have it run a particular distance and judge that, than to fly it there, which is, and most of the surrounds that I play and that I think are probably predominant around most of the valley courses. You're not trying to go over anything. They're relatively flat and smooth run ups to the green. So it's I don't know. It just is a higher percentage shot for me to chip it, and I'll duff them every now and then, but that's fine. Let's see. Did we lose? Did we lose Clemson, man? I was hoping he would have a comment or a question since he seemed to be confused by what was going on here. And Mark Nelson Bomb Tech. So uh, Joey D's Golfing Journey, another channel. Um, he has reviewed a bunch of Bomb Tech stuff. He really loves Bomb Tech. Do I use wood or driving iron or hybrid? Off of the tee, I use I have a driver and I have a driving iron. I have a 3 hybrid. So the top of my bag is driver, driving iron. Driver's 9 degree, driving iron is 16 degree, and then I have a 3 hybrid, and I can't remember the loft on that. The 3 hybrid, I can hit it off the tee just fine, but I don't really like to. I use that club mostly for out of the rough or long approach shots from the fairway, long layups off of a tight lie. That's typically what I use that for. But it's all mostly driver or driving iron for me if it's a hole that I need to get, actual distance of out of the tee shot. Some of the holes at my course are sort of strategic, so you have to lay off and hit maybe a 5 iron or a 6 iron, on a par 4 or something like that. And trying to go with more club or more distance just doesn't make sense. It brings too much trouble into play. And as conditions change over the year or over the course of the year, it brings more or less trouble into play. I think particularly if the 18th hole at my course, in the dead of winter when it's cold. Hey, night, Roger. Thanks for jumping in. It was a good time. Um, the 18th hole at my course in the wintertime, uh, if I also have a 3 wood, but I don't carry it. If I crush my driving iron, I'll carry there's a creek that's kinda runs diagonal, 220 on the short end, 250 on the long end. I can hit the creek with my driving iron at any point, um, but it has to be a really good shot during the winter. So normally in the winter, that comes up short, but there's a slope that goes down to it. So as soon as it dries out and it gets warmer and the ball starts flying further, you keep like dialing back the club because once it hits and rolls, it's going to roll down into the creek if you're not careful. And could I go for it to carry the creek? Yeah, but it brings trouble. It narrows up quite a bit once you cross the creek. So I don't know. So Mark, your three hybrids come to life and gives me an easy swing 170, 180. Yeah. I I bought it. I bought mine used. I think most all my woods are used. The only new club I have in my bag is the Haywood, um, the driving iron, signature driving iron. But I bought the three hybrid just on a whim, just to try it, and I needed something that was easier to hit out of the rough than my 3 iron. And I hit my 3 iron well, but it's harder to hit out of the rough, and the hybrid just seems to go really well out of the rough. So I bought that and found it to be much more versatile. So the 3 irons out of the bag, 4 irons in the bag for right now. In the wintertime, holes where I typically in the summer would be hitting a 5 iron or 6 iron sometimes. I have to go to 4 iron in the wintertime because it's colder and the ball doesn't roll out once it hits. So, do you carry just is that the only hybrid you carry, Mark? And how about you, Mark Nelson? Wood, driving iron, or hybrid? Do you have all three? Hybrids are awesome as long as it's not too windy. 11 wood. Yeah, I've been seeing tons of these things. Like from 7 wood on up, 7 woods, 9 woods, and 11 woods. I guess it's the odd numbers that people like. 27 degree off Timu. Trying to think. 27 degree is I don't even know. That is 6.5. That's probably that's that's my 5 iron at 27 degrees. Trying the spring. And Mark, you bought your hybrid for $10 at a yard sale. Do your hybrids balloon, Sid? Mine mine go pretty well in the wind. Basically in all conditions, it's just a nice club. 19-degree TaylorMade Rescue Club. I should look. I don't know what I'm gonna guess a 3 hybrid is probably in that 19 and 20 degree range, somewhere in there. You would think that I would know. I know most of my iron lofts. It's probably the only club I don't know the loft of is the 3 hybrid, but not important. Spinny, made to get up high quick. Well, yeah, I guess that's true. Right? That's the head shape and everything. Get that center of gravity back and launch it. But anything is going to be tough in the wind. I just find that the hybrid is a nice consistent. There's a consistent distance that I like out of it. I think with my 3 hybrid, hitting my 3 hybrid, I'm looking for 210 to 220, maybe even a little bit further at times. Just depends. But it's nice because you can get that hitting it out of the rough, hitting it off the fairway, hitting it out of all sorts of different conditions, off the tee. It's just a very consistent 210, 215, 220, boom, boom, boom. Easy to hit. Feels good. Yeah, the weight is low and back. Said we are going to have to go out and golf together soon, very soon, so that we can try each other's clubs. You can try some antiques like mine, the finest irons that 2006 had to offer, and they weren't actually the finest irons that 2006 had to offer. They were just from 2006. Any new club purchases in the future for you? For anybody? Your Sid's driver's been wild lately. Want to get out to Creekside soon? Yeah. Uh, you do know members out at Creekside. You know me. My driver has been very wild. What do you hit when you don't hit when your driver is misbehaving? You have do you carry 3 wood or do you go to that hybrid? Looking at that 357 from Performance. Oh, you need to watch Joey D's channel because I think he reviewed that club too. The 357 from Performance Golf. So Joey D, I think it was Mark Nelson was talking about the Bomb Tech clubs. Joey D has reviewed a bunch of those. I'm pretty sure he's reviewed more than one Performance Golf club. More than one club from Performance Golf, and I'm pretty sure one of them was a 357. Mark, are we going to get a Pac Northwest Content Creator Day together? Yes, we are. There's actually, well, I can't spoil it yet. I can't spoil it yet, but yes, I've actually had some interesting requests coming from folks, near and far, making plans to come play here, and asking, "What about everybody else? Are they going to be able to play?" I'm like, "Well, we're going to make sure." So stay tuned. But yes, a Pac Northwest deal for sure. Especially now that we're kind of slowly creeping out of wintertime and we're may actually hit 70 degrees at one point next week. Very excited about it. Um, New driver, new wedges. Sydney, I would love both new driver and new wedges myself. I would like to go with, well, I would love to be fit for a driver. I don't care about getting fit for wedges. I would like wedges that feel, give me the same look and feel as my irons, which are, just cast cavity backs. Um, I don't know. They just give me a lot of confidence when I'm standing over those irons, and I would like to have that same confidence when I'm standing over my wedges. And I don't really necessarily have that. I definitely don't have it with Judas, the 52 degree, but the 56. I have confidence with the 56. What am I saying? But I have more confidence standing over most of my irons. I have more confidence standing over a 3 iron than I do over my Judas gap wedge. The Vokies, yeah. What did I have? I used to have a 56 Vokey. Say someone cut the cheese. The live mic picked it up. Another outrageous live moment in history, and the internets around the globe still fan bases are doing the wave and giving 2 thumbs up for Mike. Well, I didn't, but thank you. I'll take it. You probably heard me hitting my desk or like that or something. It tells me you're listening very closely. How am I supposed to pronounce your name? User RH7EV5PZ70. It's like blockchain. Fess up. Fess up to nothing. I'm picking my nose, but I didn't fart. That's a green light, not gas. Whoops, this way. I always get confused. This has deteriorated quickly. Very quickly. Which what wedges do you carry, Sid? If you want Vokies, do you carry 2, 3 wedges? Are you a 3 wedge guy? Mark likes the backlighting. I'll show you. I'll bring my light, Mark, when we meet up, and then you can see it. It's or actually I'll send you the link. I'll figure out where I bought it from, and I'll send you the link. It's super cool. It's a little tiny thing. It's like the little bit bigger than a cassette tape. At least we know what a cassette tape is. Speaking of, I found a bunch of cassette tapes in one of our buildings. So I'm sort of the de facto landlord for my company, and we had tenants move out, and all this junk was left in there, and there was stacks of tapes. It was very funny. Tailor-made mill grind and high toe 56. So 3 wedges. 357 hybrid is decent for older golfers. I think so, Dick Large. I think that's why Joey D tried it. Um, he's a couple years older than me. I'm 53, and he's like 56. I think he said. But he's been working like I think who was it? Roger was on here earlier. Asked about the stack system. He's been working on speed training and trying to get some of his speed back. And so he was trying all these different clubs. Clubs for seniors, clubs for whatever, all the different shafts and everything else. So I don't recall what he said about it. It's actually only a couple of I think it's only a couple weeks old. And let's see here, the 3.5s. I don't want this to be too riveting for everybody, but let's see here. Let's see if we can pull up Joey D's 357 review. Did he review it? Here's his. So he did review the Performance Golf Thriver driver. And I think if I recall, he wasn't a big fan. He was a big fan of the Kirkland. SF1 driver. I don't think that's what you're talking about. Yeah, he's 2 subscribers away from giving away a golf club. But there it is. Performance Golf 357 fairway. So he did post a video on that like a month ago. This club is insane, which tells me he probably liked it. Let's pull it up. Let's pull it up. So yeah, he's pretty high on the Performance Golf 357 fairway hybrid. 3-wood distance with 7-wood accuracy and forgiveness. Give it a try. And Sid wants to replace 56 with a 52, I think. I have a big gap between my 56 and gap wedge. I do too. My current situation with my wedges, Sid, is my pitching wedge is in the set, right? So it's a pitching wedge, a 3-iron set. Pitching wedge is 45 degrees, and then I have 56 degree. So a little bit of a gapping issue. And I think I would like to go. I kind of want to go 50, 58, go 58, 52, 56, or just go 50, 54, somewhere in that. But yeah, it's a huge gap. And so a lot of the shots, like I was thinking back to the last round that I posted, which is the 9-hole season opener. I hit a pitching wedge that plugged into the bunker on the 4th hole. And it was a gorgeous shot. My brother-in-law was like, that's going in the hole. I'm like, I don't know. Cause it's a total judgment shot as a feel shot. It was like 78 yards. And so it was like, I think this feels about right. And I was like a foot short of clearing the bunker. So I know if I had a gap wedge that I actually trusted, it would have been, maybe a 3/4 swing with a gap wedge, and it would easily have cleared, and it would have been less guesswork. I don't know that even like a clock system would have helped in the situation where I did that. And it comes up often because those are really my 2 options is 56 and pitching wedge. So Mark Nelson, what putter do I use? It's a putter you would have never heard of because I don't even know what brand it is. It's just a good old brass putter that's was gifted to me when I was working in the 90s at Frito Lay, and it's branded Tostitos, as in the chips, and I've just played it ever since. I love it. It's like the best feeling putter ever. Um, Push the 56, get 90, 95. Yeah. Yeah. I That's my 56 is like a full swing is a 100-yard club, but I refuse to do it. Just I do not like hitting wedges, full wedges like that. One is it introduces some, a bigger swing. It's introduces some unpredictability into the results. But two, I spin all my irons. I can spin all of my irons back on the green, and a full 56 like that onto a green, and I'm guaranteed it's going to spin back 7 8 feet, a ton, and that's too much. Like I want it to, if I land within a foot or 2 feet of the pitch mark, then I'm happy, and um, I can do that if I'm not taking a full swing and putting too much spin on it. Whoa. So yeah, it's just better outcomes with every club if it's just a smooth swing. But that's the trick, right? Trick is smooth swings. Oh, there, I turned my screen share off. So you want to get those clubs, Sid, but are you going to get what are on the scale of what are the odds? What are the odds you actually get new clubs this year? Either a new driver or a new gap wedge. I can tell you the odds for me. There's zero. I'm not that motivated to get new clubs. Um, some guys are just like really hardcore gear guys and they want to talk about it all the time. They're low odds because you're too cheap. That's me. That's absolutely me. I told you, I think I did in my what's in the bag, went through like what I paid for all of my clubs, and it's ridiculously low. I think my putter was gifted to me. My 56 degree was it's like a cheap ass Wilson Harmonized. It was on sale. I think I got it for $25. It was new. Um, my iron set pitching wedge through 3-iron was gifted to me. So far I'm into it, $25. Um, See you, Mark. Thanks for stopping in. It was fun. And you'll be hearing more from me about the Pac Northwest trip. So my irons were all gifted to me. I bought what's the next club? The next would be the hybrid, the 3 hybrid. I bought that for $35. So now we're up to what? 60 $60. I paid 150 for the driving iron from Haywood. So 210, and I paid $99 for my driver on Callaway pre-owned. So I'm basically 300, 310 for my bag. It's cool to have new stuff sometimes. Yeah. I satisfy any of that kind of itch with trying new golf balls. It's a lot cheaper. That wasn't intentional. Like it wasn't like I intentionally cheaped out. A lot of it was gifts. And the 3 hybrid, I didn't know if I wanted a hybrid or if it would work for me. So I went to Callaway pre-owned and I bought a cheap one. And same with the 56. I was like, the 56 is a different story. I had my whole bag was left-handed except for obviously my putter is still right-handed. My 56 for the first couple years that I golfed, switched to left-handed, was still a right-handed club. And I finally given it to my buddy and had to replace it. And so I just went with a cheap one, just say, okay, let's just see, because it didn't feel comfortable yet. I didn't want to spend a bunch of money on a club that just didn't feel comfortable yet. And so I ended up with a cheap Wilson Harmonized. So do I own cryptocurrency? No, I don't. And you know what's so unfortunate about that is that I was really into reading up on it when, like, at the very, very beginning, way back, way, way, way back, Satoshi and all that stuff with, and they were, the articles were having a hard time explaining what big, what it was, what digital currency was, what cryptocurrency was, what Bitcoin is, and the big deal was if you had like 4 servers set up in your house and mining it. And I remember almost pulling the trigger on $100 worth of coins at a buck a coin way back when, and now I just try not to think about it. It just is a little bit more depressing. Can't justify an unfitted $600 driver no matter what kind of mental gymnastics I try to play. I have a hard time justifying a $600 driver, so maybe I am cheap. I just don't the technology gains, I don't buy it. There's plenty of videos out there comparing them, so you might as well just get one that's a couple years old and not pay $600. I mean, if you're not playing multiple times every week, you're not wearing out your driver like a pro. So just get one that's a couple years old and save yourself several $100s is sort of the way I look at it. And is that cheap? Probably, maybe to some people. It is shiny. Uh, so Dick Lark, did you ask about cryptocurrency because you are into cryptocurrency? Sort of came out of left field. Holds a big bag of crypto. Well, that's good. Sydney's curious about the username. He'll DM you a picture. Do you hold it in like all in one coin, or do you have various coins? And I don't even know if I'm saying that right. Meaning, like, is it all in, Bitcoin, or is it all in Doge, or is it all in, or is it spread across different coins, or does it matter? About 12 coins. And did I ask that correctly? Are they like all the same? I guess I'll say brand for lack of the correct term, probably. XRP bar. Have not heard of it. It's just not something I follow too closely anymore. Occasionally, we'll get a guest at one of our hotels asking about using crypto to pay for their hotel room. And the answer is no, because it's hard to charge a crypto coin for incidentals, room damage, et cetera, et cetera. And you still haven't explained your username to Sydney. Yeah, Sydney. Okay, certain golfer that we both played with had 15 coins at one point and sold them when they were only a few bucks. I'm pretty sure that certain golfer has told me that same story too. We had a pretty good laugh about it, um, which is pretty funny. Like that's a total me move. So at least he owns up to it, like and can laugh about it. You know what? If I'm him, I would be saying, like, because he bought it right and then made a couple dollars off of each coin. That's multiples, like, a 400% return. That's how I would talk about it. Is Richard Large your real name? It just comes across as the screen name that someone would pick. Yeah, he doesn't like to think about it. Sort of like me passing up the opportunity buying coins when they were like they actually might not have even been a dollar. They were just under it or something. I can't remember. It's an article in I think Wired magazine back in ooh two. I'm guessing here. This is like 2000 or 1999, somewhere in that time frame. Back when I was probably not smart enough. Clearly not smart enough because I didn't just spend $100. Okay, I was curious about that when you said you've been made fun of your name your whole life. There you go, Sid. You satisfied? It's his real name. I was always embarrassed of my middle name. I'm a child, pretty much. Dude, all men are basically children. In the right circumstances, we all just revert to children. My middle name is Abraham, and so everyone, as soon as a little kid hears that your middle name is Abraham, it's Father Abraham if they're Sunday school goers, or it's Abraham Lincoln, or Honest Abe, or just all sorts of names because kids are so nice. So, Dick, if you're holding on to a big bag of coins, what's the plan? This is what I don't understand sometimes about crypto guys is I guess if you just say you're just holding as investment, that's one thing. And that's probably what most of them are doing is it's speculative, holding on, hoping that it goes way up in value and then sell. Um, but do you use it at all in a practical sense? Do you use it for anything other than just holding as an investment? In which case, I think it's actually probably a lot like art. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I've cooled a lot on Elon Musk. 'Cause he makes big promises. Makes big promises and doesn't really follow through on most all of them with his businesses. But yeah, I'm not even sure where I guess the opportunities for using it, for spending it are growing. What's the most common? Like for instance, can I go buy a car? Are there any dealers that will allow me to buy a car with crypto? Because I don't know how widely it gets adopted if people aren't actually going to start using it. What's the incentive? Like I gave the buy a Tesla. Well, yeah, I'm not surprised a Tesla and probably buy a ride on Starship with Bitcoin, but can I buy anything else practical? Can I buy a washing machine? Um, because there's not a lot of incentive for me as you know running a hotel to go through the hassle of getting everything set up to accept Bitcoin and meeting all the requirements that I would have to meet on regulatory stuff on my end for like the one person a year that comes in to pay with Bitcoin. If everybody's just holding it for investment and nobody's using it as actual practical currency. So maybe another question is, have you bought anything with it? I think sort of, Sid, but then it sort of doesn't make sense. I mean, it makes less sense to me if that's it. Because the point of it is not using cash. So if the only way you can use it is to sell it for the cash and then use the cash, I don't it doesn't I don't understand it. I guess okay, so Japan is going to use crypto instead of cash. I would say when. That's kind of sort of one of those statements that gets thrown out. I could see them adopting adopting it faster than maybe we would. China uses Alipay instead of cash. Well, I mean, we have Apple Pay, and I would guess Alipay is just like Apple Pay. I'm guessing, mostly because it sounds the same. And I don't know how. Well, we really have gone off off the trail here for a golf channel, but I don't know how the regulatory environment is different between China and Japan and the U.S. in terms of banking and currency. I'm sure that there's pretty significant some significant differences. This is when those guys drop into the chat because they just logged in and saw a live stream and they're like, "What on earth did I just drop into?" It says Mike Golfs Oregon, and you're talking about currency regulation in China and Japan. I Sid, you laugh, but this is exactly the kind of conversations I usually have with my friends. just, just go everywhere. Mike Golf's crypto. That's good. I'm gonna just start using Mike Golfs and then whatever else it is. Mike Golf psychology. I'm kind of surprised. I was waiting. I thought there was going to be someone jumping in and you'd support that. I thought there would be someone jumping in tonight who would notice my little vial up there of North Pole water and maybe do a challenge drinking North Pole water. I was told not to drink it because it could have some very ancient pathogens in it. I will remember this day that Dick, I'm not doubting it. I'm not doubting crypto. It may skyrocket starting in 2026. Who knows? Been told it would skyrocket. It has skyrocketed several times and then drawn back. And then I think now it's coming out of a down cycle. So it probably will. I don't know, Sid. I think it probably give me something like whatever Neanderthals got sick from. It really is non-drinkable. At least that's what I'm told. And Dick, do you think that pegging that will come out wrong, but um, pegging the skyrocketing or the let's say the getting back on the crypto being back on the upswing because it was previously and then it went down is tied to specifically to oil. Don't drink out of the fountain. I wouldn't drink out of it. I think I would just go with all bottled stuff at Disney. Don't drink out of the Jungle Cruise. Just a good rule. 2 weeks. So, Dick, you say you're you're at Disney World for 2 weeks. Is it like, are you going to be in the park for most of that 2 weeks? I know it's huge, and it's like not a park; it's multiple parks, and then there's other stuff that's been built up or outside of Disney World itself. That sounds exhausting to me. I could do it for a while, but yeah, it does. 14 days at Disney World sounds very expensive, especially if you have kids. Tokenization, yep. A little Disney and mostly volleyball. Yep. Oh, that's right. You said volleyball. Actually, I don't. We never went there for volleyball, but I'm gonna guess that they have a massive venue for that. Okay, Miami. Yeah, nothing will give you a headache quite like a volleyball venue. Oh no, again, you're called. This is college, so it might be different. Probably is different. I'm thinking back to club volleyball days, and nothing like going into a gym, into a massive building that has 85 volleyball courts of all girls volleyball, ranging in age from 12 up to 18, just screaming everywhere, echoing. Never had a headache quite like a volleyball tournament headache. Is it more volleyball in Miami? A fidget spinner, screwdriver. Yeah, I started wearing earplugs too, and then I occasionally would just have to leave. Is it against University of Miami? And what position does your son play? Middle. How tall is he? Because that typically is one of the tallest guys on the team. 6'5". It's a lot taller than me. Well, 5 inches. Teammate is 6'10". Yeah. I went to when I was in school in San Francisco. I went to law school in San Francisco. There were three of them, three females in my class who were who had all just finished up at Stanford and played volleyball at Stanford. And I think the shortest of the three was like 6'3" or 6'4", something like that. And remember one of them brought her brought her boyfriend to school, and he was 6'11", and this is ridiculous. He also played volleyball at Stanford. Yeah. Well, yeah, if you've got the vertical to play that position, 6'5" is probably plenty high, plenty tall enough. My daughter is short, and so she was always a libero or a defensive specialist. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, I find this amazing that there's not a ton of people watching this, but that there's as many people as there are, and only like one or two people talking, and there's these long periods of silence, and yet you still stay on here. I'm very curious what it is that keeps you on here. If one of you quiet people wants to drop in the chat, because we clearly have not been talking about golf for a very long time. Just bored. Yeah. Wondering what's next. So James Long, right, says just bored. I'm gonna guess that you've never seen my channel before. You just saw that it was live. Um, I'm just making that assumption. You can tell me if that's not accurate or not. So what do you typically what sort of live streams do you typically drop in on? Whenever I look for live streams, it's always like news or some like live sports watch along. So is it you just like hearing people talk? Is that kind of it? I'm not like yeah, through Joey D. I'm curious, James. I'm really curious about James, right? He's just listening because he's bored. So I'm curious what is it just like background noise? You guys throw out a topic, I'll talk about anything. The algorithm is funny sometimes. Yes, it is. It played a mean joke on you, sending you over here. Sometimes it's literally just people staring at the camera and there will be 200 people watching. Oh, so fellow okay. I think I know which James this is. So you've how I don't know how long you've been on the stream, but you, if you've if you jumped on in the last I don't know what half hour for oh wow if you've jumped on in the last 45 minutes then you came on after pretty much most of the golf talk was over and we've just been talking about crypto and um I don't know what else Japanese monetary policy that we don't know anything about. Okay, give me a topic. We're testing that theory, Sid. Just silently smiling into the you are playing Bandon this weekend. That's fantastic. Which courses or course? We had a long discussion about Bandon earlier. We talked about our favorite holes on every course. And James, I don't know if you were on earlier when we talked about it. So right now there's the Bandon what's it called? The Bandon Championship. It's an invitational for college. And kid yesterday, a freshman, Trails Pacific Old Mac OGBN, awesome. A freshman from Oregon State University yesterday shot a 61 on Pacific. So he was 7 under on the front and birdied 18 to break the course record, which is previously 62. So I'm fully expecting I'm going to guess it's Golf Perfection's Discord, some scoring update where you talk about, just missing out on breaking the new course record of 61 at Pacific. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. And I was talking about it when I was talking about it earlier, the fact that he's a freshman, and so he's like 18 or 19 years old, and he went out there and just absolutely had a day. I forgot to go back and look and see how he did today, and I don't even know what course they were playing today because it's a rotation of courses. Did he make the cut? Yeah, he did. John Daly Jr. did make the cut. Or are you talking about the players? He made the cut last in Puerto Rico, and he was in contention, kind of even down the stretch. And I don't know where he finished. I don't know where he ended up. But Little John cracks me up. One of my favorite clips, one of my favorite golf clips is, I forget who it was that was interviewing. It might have been from golf.com or PGA or whoever. Had John Daly and Little John at a driving range, and John Daly is explaining how he taught Little John and taught him to do this and shot shape and all this stuff. Just in like total John Daly, total hillbilly mannerisms. He's just like, show him, Little John, show him. Why don't you hit the draw, Little John, hit the draw. Go ahead and hit the draw. Little John sets up, hits his massive bomb draw. That's really good. Now, Little John, hit the cut. Hit the cut, Little John. Little John hits a massive cut. Pretty amazing. But just the way he says it. Show him the draw, Little John. You know what? Your weather, James. Have you looked at your weather? I think you're going to get pretty good weather. It's same with, like I saw everybody on the Discord talking about temperatures going up in Bay Area. It's same up here. I think Saturday is supposed to be a little chilly, but not bad, and then Sunday is going to be nice. So if you're up in that time frame, if those are the days you're going to be up here, it's going to be pretty nice. Yeah, pretty typical for the coast. Is that the order of the courses that you're playing? Because if it is that, and I think you've been up there before. I think you've played all those courses, but that Trails Pacific, if that's one day, man, that's a brutal day. Oh, okay. You got it. You're probably younger than me. I'm dead. I'm dying by the end of Trails. And I run and walk all the time. I always walk golfing, but I'm a runner too. And that one just kills me, probably because I'm chasing my ball right and left and walking 3 times as long as everybody else. But and ending on Bandon, especially that'll be a second round I'm assuming a second round on Sunday. That'll be awesome because then you're going to get 16 at like sunset. 16, 17 at sunset is epic. First time. Okay. First time playing Trails. Trails is my favorite. Oh, it's your first trip. Okay. You're going to have so much fun. Are you staying on resort? So since you're playing Trails Friday, if you're there early enough to get breakfast at trails. Um, each of the courses has their own little shop where you can get food and stuff, and get breakfast at trails and get the what is it? It's like their take on bulgogi. It's like a Korean, like a spicy Korean beef. It's a really good wrap. It's tasty. Trails Friday. Okay, that's not that bad. Now that I read it again, Pacific and Old Mac on Saturday, that's doable because Old Mac is I mean it's rolling and stuff. It's built on dunes, but it's not as I don't know. It's not as hard of. It's an easy walk. Basically, is what I'm trying to say. It's an easy walk, and then Bandon on Sunday. Yeah, that's that's a good way to go out. You should also at least just sneak over and take a look at Sheep Ranch. They've got a really awesome fire pit at the clubhouse that's up high. It's all encased in glass so that you don't get just blown off of the hilltop. And then you can see the whole course from up there. It's a pretty cool spot to get up there and have a pastrami sandwich. Is Ozempic safe? Sure. I'm not a doctor. Okay, we've covered banking, crypto, travel, all in one clubs, Ozempic. Yeah, that's the truth, Sid. We'll find out in a couple of years, Mark. It's a little too early now. Once they get the cheaper pills out for everybody and then everybody's on them, then we'll find out. I did read an article that said that I have nothing against Ozempic and people that use it or whatever. That's fine. It's expensive, but whatever. Um, that it actually lowers the risk of addiction. I don't know that people take it for addiction, but that they did this big statistical study and it showed that it decreases the risk for addiction to basically everything um, in people that use it. Which I thought was interesting. So now they're going to start using it for weight loss, diabetes, addiction, who knows what else. A lot of dead skinny people. Little People Big World fan being in Oregon. No, I mean I remember when it was on, and I've seen them out and about. Um, their their farm is if you've ever heard of Pumpkin Ridge, that's a pretty well known course up outside of Portland, and I think it's where like Live Golf in their first year, their first tournament in the US was at Pumpkin Ridge. And the roll off, whatever it is, their farm is like I think it's like a mile away from that course. So as you're driving to the course, you see signs for their farm. And actually I think I knew someone who worked with him. I forget the husband's name. But no, not necessarily a big fan. I don't watch a whole lot of TV. I'm addicted to YouTube and I need to probably take Ozempic to kick the addiction. All right. You know what, Sid? I don't feel like testing this theory of staring at a camera for an hour while 200 people watch. I need more topics. Is it time to bust out my North Pole water? It's not time. All right, guys, I actually have to get up early tomorrow, so I am going to jump off of here, but it has been very fun. Thank you all for spending time, for jumping in the comments and asking your questions and providing your insights. Uh, don't forget to like and subscribe and all the things. And I will probably see you all shortly again, somewhere in this format, in this forum. So, oh, now I have to answer Mark's question here, or not question, comment. I was in Spokane, staying at a hotel, and a Little People convention was going on. So, Mark, I just did like 2 weeks ago, a week ago, I did an interview with my dad, who grew up. His parents owned Gerhardt Golf Links, which is in Gerhardt. It's a links course up on the north course of Oregon, and it was in the 50s and 60s. And right across the street was a big old wooden hotel that basically looked like the Overlook Hotel on Stephen King's The Shining movie with Jack Nicholson. Big old hotel like that. And my dad said his favorite was when the Little People would come, because they would have their convention at the hotel, and then they would have their Little People's golf tournament at the golf course. And he always thought, as a kid, he just thought that was the greatest thing in the whole world. And I mean, I work in a hotel and convention center, and we haven't had a little person's deal, but interesting. Anyways, all right, guys. Peace. Thanks for hanging out. Appreciate you guys. And I will see you on the next one. Good night.